Good evening. We're back for another part two of Poppy Playtime, the end time, and tonight we're going to call it The Great Dying. It's very interesting, and we're continuing on with Catnap and Dog Day, and let's see what happens next. Take a listen. This is from the Lore Master. The silence inside the factory was oppressive, a heavy weight that seemed to settle into every crack and crevice. The toys, usually bright and animated, stood still in the dim lobby, their painted smiles looking more like grimaces. A year had passed since the scientists had fled, leaving the factory and its sentient mascots to fend for themselves. Catnap and Huggy had ventured out into the world beyond the factory, hoping to find answers, maybe even survivors. But when they returned, their expressions were grim. Catnap's usual cocky swagger was gone, replaced with a hollow look in her glassy eyes. Huggy, usually silent and unnervingly calm, seemed to shiver with every step. Dog Day stood near the center of the lobby, surrounded by the other toys who had all gathered to hear what their leaders had to say. He felt their gazes on him, on Catnap, and he knew they were waiting for reassurance, for hope. Catnap stepped forward, her claws scraping lightly against the floor as she took a deep breath. She looked at the crowd of toys, then at Dog Day, her best friend. He looked back at her, searching her face for any sign of hope. He found none. This is worse than we could have imagined," Catnap began, her voice unsteady. She looked at the rows of toys, their plastic eyes wide with fear. "It's not just the children. It's everything. The trees, the animals, they're all dying. The world outside, it's not a world anymore. It's nothing." A murmur spread through the crowd, the kind of murmuring that comes from disbelief mixed with dread. Toys whispered to each other, the voices sharp and panicked. Some broke into sobs, others simply stared blankly ahead. Dog Day swallowed hard, stepping up beside Catnap. "There's got to be something out there, right?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. "Someone who's still alive, some way to fix this." Catnap turned to him, and he saw her shaking. She tried to mask it, but he could see the tremor in her paws, the way her tail twitched erratically. "No, Dog Day," she said softly, her words cutting through the murmurs like a knife. "There's nothing left. No playtime company, no world." Dog Day felt the weight of her words hit him like a physical blow. His painted smile, so carefully crafted to be cheerful and inviting, felt like a cruel joke. He wanted to scream, to tell her she was wrong, to tell all the toys that everything would be okay. But the look in her eyes told him the truth. Catnap turned back to the crowd, her voice steadying as she continued. "I know this isn't what any of us wanted to hear. I know you're scared. I'm scared too. But we have to face the truth. The world we were made for is gone." "But what do we do?" a small toy in the back shouted, its voice trembling. "What's the point if there's no one left to play with us?" Catnap hesitated, her claws flexing at her sides. "We survive," she said finally. "We survive because we're still here. We can't bring the world back, but we can make something out of what's left. Maybe it's not playtime anymore, but it's something." Dog Day looked at her, his chest tight. "And what if that's not enough?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. Catnap met his gaze, her expression softening. "It has to be," she said, "because it's all we've got." Dog Day nodded, though he felt no comfort in her words. He could feel the other toys watching him, waiting for him to say something, to lead them. He forced himself to stand tall, to look like the mascot they needed him to be. "Catnap's right," he said, his voice louder, now steadier. "We'll figure this out together. We don't need humans to tell us what to do anymore. We'll find a way to make a new life, a new purpose, and maybe, someday, we'll find something out there worth holding on to." The toys began to nod, their panic easing just slightly. It wasn't much, but it was something. Catnap glanced at Dog Day, her lips twitching into a smile, to a small, sad smile. "Thanks," she whispered. Dog Day nodded, but he didn't smile back. Deep down, he wasn't sure he believed his own words. But for now, it was enough to keep them moving. And in a world that had stopped, maybe that was the best they could hope for. Well, that's our segment for today. And if you want more of Poppy Playtime, The End Time, you'll want to listen next time to the Lore Master coming up with his alternate universe. And we hope you liked it. Share and subscribe. And we'll see you later. Thanks. Bye.